Good morning. I'm so glad to be here with you. I'm here with Vivienne and Shepherd and Reverend, and the boys are working on a coloring sheet that I sent to all the families. And today we'd like to talk to you about a Bible story from the book of John. And in this story, this is the third time that Jesus visits his disciples after his resurrection. In this story, Peter, John, Thomas, and you remember Thomas from last week. Vivienne, do you remember Thomas? What do we remember about Thomas?
He believed in God, but he didn't believe he was good.
That's right. That's right. So Peter, John, Thomas, and some of the other disciples, they decided to go fishing. And they fished all night long, and they didn't catch a single one. And just as day was breaking and the sun started to come up, the disciples heard a voice on the beach. And the voice says, "Children, you don't have any fish, do you?" And they say, "No, we don't." And he says, "Well, cast your net on the right side of the boat, and you will find a catch." And so they did that. And they were not able to haul in their great heavy load. Right then, Peter knew that it was Jesus, and he jumps in the water and swims to him. After this, Jesus tells his disciples, "Come, eat breakfast with me. I have bread and fish all prepared for you." This text doesn't mention this, but the interesting thing I find is that Peter was a fisherman before he met Jesus. That was what he did for a living, so he was really good at fishing. And it must have been pretty hard for him to go fishing all night long and not be able to catch a single fish. And Vivienne, do you want to show some of the fish and bread that...
Here's the fish and here's the bread.
Good. So Peter didn't catch any fish. He must have been feeling pretty down. But also, Peter was the one that denied Jesus 3 times before his death. But regardless of his lack of faith and abilities, Jesus met him where he was and overwhelmingly blessed him with a catch. I also love how Peter drops everything to be with Jesus. This shows his great love for Jesus and also his repentant heart. Even when we forget about Jesus, when we're at work or school, or when we just don't feel like following him, he's always right there, willing to bless us and meet our needs. Lastly, we all have to go through hardships in our life, like the disciples did. Maybe this is a season that's really hard for you. Vivienne, is this a season that's hard for you in any way?
Kind of.
In what way is the season hard for you?
I miss my friends from my dance class.
Miss your friends from dance class. Yeah, we're not able to be on the sports teams. We're not able to go to church, meet with grandparents. But maybe this is a season where we learn to trust God more. If our lives were perfect all the time, we wouldn't feel the need to follow Jesus. Like how Peter's guilt made him leave everything to follow Jesus. If we trust God, he is faithful to meet us where we're at. I bless you all with that and have a wonderful week.